All right, guys, you ready for a different type of video? I'm going to show you guys a chart of what I believe the Lord has been speaking to me as prophetic visions and prophetic dreams, and I'm going to mock them up for you guys on a chart to show you guys what's been happening lately. You need to understand this first. If you were to rewind my life about 2 years ago, I never thought the Lord would ever care or ever give me a word about making money. Definitely not the cryptocurrency wild, wild west. It was about around a year and a half ago where I started to watch some YouTube channels, and this might be you as well, where I saw some people who looked like they were genuinely believers and they had a heart for the Lord. They were receiving these things called prophetic words and prophetic visions. And be honest, when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I don't really think God talks to people about cryptocurrency because I think asking God for a word to make money is like pulling the God slot machine, and it feels very unholy. And I judge them for sure. Guilty, okay? I thought, you know what? One of the ways I could actually discover if this is truly from the Lord is to get to know the individuals. And I honestly didn't reach out to them. The Lord literally brought some of these people into my life, texting me, emailing me. And I got to know some of the people I was actually previously watching. And it's still happening to this day. Even yesterday, another connection. I got to find that some of these individuals' hearts, they were absolutely pure in loving the Lord before the desire of getting a word correct. I genuinely felt that. And so it led me down a different journey. I'm like, okay, that chapter's closed. I feel like there's something here. I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to give this a shot. And here's my challenge to you guys. And I'll show you the chart here in 1 second. I said, Lord, it seems as though there's something here. It seems as though you actually do care about my finances. And it seems like you care about even my cryptocurrency portfolio positions. And that even sounds weird to say out loud. But what I'm going to do, Lord, is I ask you, if you'd like to, give me dreams and visions and help me learn and understand your voice if you want to influence my life in cryptocurrency and in my trading, to prove to me this one thing, that you care for my cryptocurrency and my investing decisions. That was it. So the journey, I'm going to get to the front now. The journey that I've been on, guys, has been a journey of working with the Lord and trying to hear his voice and mocking up previous dreams and visions I believe are from the Lord. I want to give this quick little tidbit disclaimer here. I am not trying to show this so you guys say, oh, let's go sign up in a membership and follow Travis because all of his words are going to be correct. That's actually not it at all. My challenge, if I can just cut to the end right here, is to challenge you guys. Maybe the Father does care about your financial decisions and even cryptocurrency after seeing the accuracy here. And maybe, just maybe, he wants to help you and come alongside you and be a father that holds your hand during this process. I'll say this, guys. On my journey, about a year and a half, I would say about 76% of the words that I feel like the Lord has given me have come true. Lately, it's been literally 100% accuracy recently, but understand I am not mocking up all the words that I've received. I do not want this to be deceiving in any way. You are only seeing the recent ones I've mocked up because I've actually been able to go back and find timestamps. And also, the reason why I don't have a vertical line on the exact day is because there's a differentiation between the time that I got some of these and actually when I released it to our members. So the only honest way I could think of doing this is actually to put a box around the time frame of when I got it, or like when the dream happened, the vision happened, when I released it. Because if I did one or the other, it would feel manipulative. So that's why I have a box here, and it's not specifically on one candle. Okay. So here was the journey. It started in a discipleship group that I was in with my church. And there was a night that I came home. It was my challenge was to hear the voice of the Lord. And listen to this, guys. This changed my life. And I feel like when I did this started to become very accurate. So that's why I think this is important. I asked the Lord, I said, Father, I want to hear your voice. I think there's something to this thing called cryptocurrency and partnering with you that you want to help me in. So here's what I did. I sat down with my journal in my bed and I said, Father, I want to hear your voice. And I felt like the Spirit said, ask me a question that you know the answer to. So I said, okay, Lord, I desire to hear your voice. Father, do you love me? And I I even just like saying it right there, without trying to force an answer. And I'm not turning this into Eastern meditation at all. Please understand this. But in a sense, I do still my mind and I clear it out a little bit from the thoughts. And I just rest in a posture of receiving, to just stay quiet. I say, Father, do you love me? And I literally just felt like, yeah, I feel like I just heard, yes, I do, my son. There, just try this. If you're struggling to hear the voice of the Lord, ask him a question in your quiet time that you know he will answer. And second part, that you know the answer to. The Father does love you. And some of you may say, well, since you already know the answer, you know what it's going to sound like. I'm just saying, there is a way to ask a question and stay still inside and wait for an answer. And when I hear that, guys, I literally just felt like emotionally, like right here, like in my soul, I just felt it. And I could feel a presence come on me when I heard that voice. Here's why I say that, is because that voice is a fingerprint. Think of it like a fingerprint. That feeling, that emotion is a fingerprint. And it's very difficult for me to try to tell you guys how this works. But that feeling, when I hear that voice, it somehow makes its way into some of the visions and the dreams that I have. And it feels almost the same. It's not that I hear the same words, but I say it's a fingerprint because I'm sorry, I'm struggling with words here. Just try that. Maybe I don't need to expound on this anymore. Sit quietly before the Lord and ask him a question you know the answer to. And that answer, when you hear it, it's almost like a cornerstone in your journey of hearing the Father from there on out. It will anchor you. And if a dream or a vision doesn't have a similar presence on it, or a weight on it, or a tone or a frequency, whatever you want to call it, from what you feel there, it may not be from the Lord. So let me fast forward here. I took that, and then I started to ask, Father, I ask you to show me dreams and visions of the cryptocurrency market so I can just have a journey here with you. So the first one I had here, guys, was when the market was going down below this. It was actually in a bear flag, and we thought it was going to crash down here, which ironically, it's interesting where the word came out, because the word came out at a time where we thought the market was going to actually drop back down because the bear flag had actually broken to the downside. And technical analysis says it drops back down. I had a dream that Bitcoin went to $75,000 to $80,000. And that seemed a little silly when you're at $67,000, that it's going to race all the way up there because it was breaking down. But it was true. And the dream ended up coming true. Now, on the way up to that target of $80,000, I had a vision that Bitcoin was going to break. It was just during the day. It wasn't a dream or anything, a vision. That it was a strong feeling. Like, and again, the best word I can use is a fingerprint. Like when I asked the Lord, do you love me? And I hear that voice. That confidence I feel in that voice was almost the same confidence I felt in the vision. Maybe that's a better way of describing it. And I felt, yes, Bitcoin is going to break above the ascending resistance line of the bear flag. And it's exactly what happened here. But quickly after that, and I actually told all of our members this too, I said, guys, I had 2 dreams back to back that I saw Bitcoin moving down. It wasn't a fast drop. I said it was a steep angle of descent. The angle of the descent was steep. And I said, if this were to come true, it would need to drop down below $65,000 or come back and test the bear market, the bear flag lows. And that's exactly what happened from this dream here. On the way down, this was over here on June 2nd. This is where I had another dream where I saw I was literally like in Bitcoin in a dream. And I literally felt the floor fall out of Bitcoin. And I knew, and I spoke to you guys, that Bitcoin, I believed, was going to go below $60,000. Because a lot of people were thinking it's going to come here, bounce off support right here. But I got the dream that it was going to go below. And that actually happened. Now, this one here is a little bit different. I didn't actually release this to anyone on YouTube or any of our members or anything like that. So I want to make it different. So I put an orange dot. I did, however, call a buddy. So I had at least some record of this, to be honest. You know who you are if you're watching this video. I gave him a voice message at like 10:30 at night. I guarantee you he was sleeping. But I'm like, I'm going to record this because it happened. On the night, it was right back here. So it was on the 6th. So on the 6th, you got to hear this backstory. And I'm not saying this to brag, boast, or anything like that, guys, but this is the beautiful journey I've been on. And I'm going to wrap this up here in a second. 2.5 weeks from this date here. It was right around here. I would say around the 23rd or so of May. I went outside in my backyard, and this honestly felt more slot machine-ish than anything. And I don't like asking God for signs, but the whole time I kept thinking of Gideon, genuinely, when I asked this. I said, Father, when you show me a shooting star at night, it will be when I need to close the SBIT position and get about 20% of what I had in cash in the market. SBIT is a leveraged short position we've been in, and we really got into that when I started having these dreams up here. And previously we DCA'd into it. So what was interesting about that is when I had that dream, I called the buddy. That was the drop here. And when I had that, I said, Lord, if this happens, that will tell me that a bottom is in. Not the crypto bottom is in, but a bottom is in and a reversal is going to happen because I need to start looking to close it. So that actually happened on Saturday night. So I couldn't close the SBIT position, but the day before that, we actually had positions close on SBIT because our sell limits got hit, which I thought was just a gift from the Lord because he knew I wasn't be able to close on Saturday. But also on these two candles down here, the confirmation that I believe this was true was we ended up getting $20,000 into the market and our buy limits were hit, which was very close to around 20% of the cash that I had available in the market at that time. Crazy how that happened. And I didn't even do anything because the buy limits just got hit and the word came true based off what I saw a shooting star. The night I saw the star. And so all I'm saying, guys, is that this has been a really fun journey. And I guess my challenge to you guys is if you don't believe the Lord speaks to you or cares about your cryptocurrency, I am just one of many people that are coming on here to mock this up to say, I think I have resolved inside that the Lord cares about my investment decisions in cryptocurrency. And he actually is okay giving me undeserving favor to understand what happens next in the markets. And I am not special in this. I'm saying this because I believe you are able to hear this from your Father as well. Let's just wrap this up here to not make it big. The accuracy is about 76%. If the Lord is standing before me and he said, you have to be honest, Travis, before the whole public, I would say 76%, Father, is my true honest answer. So about 24% of everything I've got has just been wrong. Okay. Again, I want to explain this. When I decide if something's right or wrong, I look at the word. Okay. I look at the word and I feel on it a certain time frame. I'm not speaking about any YouTuber right now or any of my friends. If you guys are watching this, this is for me personally. I don't like using the cop-out of feeling like I got a word and I just wait for 1 to 2 years and say it just hasn't happened yet. I'm not speaking down to anybody. This is the rules that I use. If I feel in my dream, a prophetic dream, that it's supposed to happen soon, which I felt this was a very urgent thing when this was going to happen, where Bitcoin was going to crash. If I feel it soon and I feel like I could say within 7 days and it does not happen, I actually mark it as a false word. I know I might get in trouble with that. I may be doing it wrong, but this is what I've told the Lord. If you make it feel like in the vision or the dream that it is supposed to be urgent and it is supposed to happen within, let's say, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or within a 2-week period, and it doesn't happen within the urgency feeling that was placed on the dream, then I'm not going to count it as a prophetic word. Again, I might be making mistakes. That's just how I, for myself, make a check and balance, and you need to ask the Lord how to do that as well. Okay? Talk to the Lord, guys. The point here is not to point yourself to me or what I'm trying to call out. The point is, guys, I do think the Lord speaks to us and cares about our financial decisions. The best decisions I've ever made, the most profitable actually decisions I've ever made, have been from actually hearing the Lord in my quiet time. And I sell indicators for a living in this business and do TA. So it doesn't help me to actually down talk what we actually sell. But the truth is, the best entries I've ever received are from hearing the Lord. And our members know this who's followed me for 3+ years. The 2 times we bought into the market and I felt the Lord say, literally, go all in my living room back here. The exchange on Coinbase stopped trading both times. It stopped for hours because there was so much buy volume going into those exchanges. And so, again, I know I'm being redundant. I don't mean to make this a long video, but I have just been Like, Father, thank you for bringing me on this journey. And more than anything, my heart is just warmed because I genuinely believe now that you care for my cryptocurrency. And I'm not entering into a quiet time to pull the slot machine of finance. I'm entering into the quiet time with the Lord because I just get to simply be with my Father. And that is more than enough for me. But if a byproduct is he helps make me become wealthy because I hang out with someone that has all wisdom, then that's a fun byproduct of being with the Father. And sometimes when you hang out with people with great influence and with wisdom, you do it because you love them, but sometimes it rubs off on you, you know? Sometimes, you know, if you hang out with a billionaire and you just enjoy them for who they are, sometimes they share some insight with you that feels undeserved. And that actually feels like what it feels like sometimes when I'm with the Lord and with the Father in my quiet time. So, yeah, it's been a really fun journey, guys. And I just encourage you to mock up your visions and your dreams and let the Lord speak to you through them. All right, guys, God bless, and I'll see you guys in the next video update. Bye, guys.